Ready.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about mainly the death penalty and a little bit about the witch trials as well. So the death penalty in the UK has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years and predates to around the 17th century-ish. And at this time it was known first as the Bloody Code, and a lot of the crimes, which oftentimes were just trivial, petty things, were punished by hanging. So if you stole from a shipwreck, which that doesn't belong to anyone because it's a shipwreck, you died. Pickpocketing goods worth a shilling, or about 30 quid in today's money. Stealing like farm animals as well, or just farm animal products like their like sheep's wool or milk from cows or whatever, you die. Of course, to note that crimes like murder and arson would also be punished by death as well, but
they're all like qualified as the same thing. It's not.
It doesn't matter really the severity. All of them, you just die most of the time.
Yeah.
And within each crime, there would be multiple layers of offenses within it. So, for example, if you committed arson, you'd get charged for like property damage and like terrorism or like endangerment and stuff like that. Also, a lot of the jurors of the time weren't willing to find people guilty when the act came into place, the Bloody Code came into place, strangely, because they didn't want people to die under their word. So less people were executed under the Bloody Code than before it was put into place. Alongside this time, in the 16th and 17th century, were the witch trials going on all over Europe, including in the UK, where thousands and thousands of innocent women would be accused of witchcraft and would be forced to confess and subject to torture and subsequently death. Yeah.
And how do you think that is related to our play, or a theme or a scene or a character in particular?
Well, it links with the play because, well, I was going to say...
Good question, huh? Good question.
No. It links to the play because, well, anything simple that a woman could do would get accused of witchcraft, really. Like, if you grew herbs, oh, you're growing that to make a potion, you're a witch! And, well, the only way to kind of, like, escape that would be blaming other women. So that's what they did. They just blamed the other women, and then they get sentenced instead, and that's kind of like in our play how, after everyone murders their husbands, they just kind of blame each other instead of taking accountability for themselves.
Yeah, and also I think, well, some characters do, but also I think it's whenever a woman has a say or a want or a need, she's not listened to.
Which I was going to get to.
I'll go on then.
Yes. In more modern times, about the death penalty, the death penalty for murder was suspended in 1965, but ended up getting abolished in 1969, but was still used for higher offenses like treason and going against the monarchy. Although the last person to be hanged for treason was in 1946, and the man was named William Joyce, and he was a fascist and a Nazi propaganda broadcaster. So,
oh, William,
I think that's fair enough.
Oh well.
Back then, in the 90s and before that, it was a lot easier to get away with crimes, especially for people with higher authority, as evidence left on the scene would just get apparent that it would lead to someone, anyone could get accused, or they could just not care about it and just ignore it, and no one would get tried. And since DNA testing wasn't available then either, it was never certain that if they accused someone that they would actually be the correct perpetrator, basically. But despite this, the only crimes, only like extreme crimes like murder and arson and witchcraft and treason would be warranting capital punishment. Yes. Since the death penalty suspension in 1965, a lot of the media and public called for it to be reintroduced to keep more dangerous criminals off of the streets, because there were a lot of high-profile murderers, especially since it was, you know, so easy to get away with murder. However, since its suspension, it was noticed that there were a lot of wrongful convictions. Whoa, who would have guessed? And yeah, in these cases where innocent people were charged with murder, they would try to get their convictions overturned and release them from jail. And what do you know? They were found to be innocent. So yeah, and this strengthened the argument to oppose bringing the death penalty back. And it made the case stronger for politicians to not bring it back because it's too what's the word? It's too risky to put an innocent person's life on the line. Like you never know if you're convicting the right person or not because, well, no one's perfect, you know. So yeah, because when you kill someone, you can't bring them back if they turn out to be innocent.
That was the case of that boy, whoever.
Yeah. And although we don't have witch trials anymore, there is still very much a power imbalance between men and women. Women's voices aren't heard in a lot of aspects of life. One that I know a lot of is medical malpractice. That's especially prevalent with women. Their pain tends to be ignored and considered a symptom of just being a woman, really. So instead of getting their problems taken seriously, they would get diagnosed with hysteria or anxiety and then just get sent away. And plenty of women today, as in like 2026 today, have died because of that, which sucks. I mean, well, more than just sucks, that's really bad, but yeah. And women don't get taken seriously when crimes have been committed against them as well. So, for example, if they get essayed or abused, they tend to get blamed rather than the men who actually did the crimes. Like, oh, what were you wearing? Oh, did you get abused because you forgot to do the laundry and he was just too angry at you, so he just slapped you? Or like, oh, you must have wanted this to happen, or oh, you're just attractive, learn to take a compliment type of thing. It's really disgusting that, like, no matter how hard a woman could try and fight to get their voice heard, it just won't. And even if they do get heard, the men are still less likely to be convicted for their crime, because oh, he has a promising career ahead of him, or oh, he's just young, or he doesn't know better, or something. So it's still very unfair in that regard. But oddly enough, actually, crimes that women have committed against men, at least nowadays, tend to get more lenient sentences. So the same crimes that I've just mentioned, like if you swap the roles, and let's say it's a woman who's abusing or essaying a man, the man won't get taken seriously. His feelings would be mocked or even shamed. And like, he must have enjoyed it because, well, I don't know, men like sex and women and stuff, or whatever. So if a man gets abused by a woman, then they're not taken seriously because, well, women are like considered weaker or more subservient or submissive or like less than, you know?
And And I think this questioning that you're saying is that what we're going to explore on our last scene,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So yeah, abuse when a woman abuses a man, it tends to be only heard when that abuse leads to the death of that man. And even then, they would still get a smaller sentence than a man would if he did the exact same crime. So, yeah. And that links into the play because, well, as you just said, at the end, the roles reverse. Yeah, and it's the women in charge with the men following their every word, essentially.
And we went in a comedic way because we don't have an answer yet to what that power struggle is. But yeah, well done. Brilliant.